Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We are here in Madison Square Garage around the pool table of relevancy, and we're here to talk PWA Colosseum, Sydney-based Australian wrestling promotion, where they had their Colosseum event, which is a 2-night event.
It's like their WrestleMania.
It is. It is a little bit. They had that a couple of weeks back. And
or is it now like their SummerSlam? Or Survivor Series? Or everything else is now going to 2 nights?
Who knows, mate? Who knows? We managed to go see both nights a couple of weeks back.
We did.
I got to say, this was where we wanted to, no offense to Slam, this was probably one of the best wrestling events in Australia that I've seen this year.
So, I mean, this year...
That's not a major promotion.
This year we've had the privilege of seeing many Slam events, being here in Canberra. We've now gone to 2 PWA events, the Colosseum and the Rumble.
Yep.
The King of the Metro. And we also went to the EPW show in Perth just before... Elimination Chamber. So we've had a couple of different experiences with indie wrestling here in Australia.
Yep.
And I think that in general, the quality of it is very good these days. Like we're getting, you know, we talked, if you check out our podcast that we put out a couple of days ago about the wrestling for the week, Zarya/Delta is debuting for NXT at Halloween Havoc. And she showed up on NXT last week, so she's the newest, I guess, of the Aussie wrestlers.
Taking over the world,
Taking over
mate.
the world.
Taking over the world.
A big part of Colosseum, which we'll talk about shortly, is Grayson Waller.
Yep.
Came back over to face Jimmy Townsend. He used to be Matty Wahlberg in PWA. Obviously, Bronson Reed overseas. Used to be Jonah in the Indies in Australia.
Yep.
You've got Cole Fletcher. You've got Buddy Matthews. You've got... Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley,
Indy Hartwell,
like the Australians are.
Let's not forget Duke Hudson of Chase University either. We got
to
give our respects to the big Duke.
But like a lot of these wrestlers that are over in the US and in the bigger leagues these days started in Australia and started with
PWAs and your RCWs and your EPWs,
Riot Wrestling and stuff like that. So my first shout out, I guess, that I want to put on this pod is to everybody involved with PWA. This was a fantastic 2-day event. It was really, really well done. But we'll talk about them more, obviously, because it's their event. But the actual shout out I want to give is to WWE.
Yeah.
And the fact that they are now allowing their talent to go and do these indie shows. We've seen Finn and JD McDonagh have gone to
I
Ireland.
can't remember what the Irish promotion is that they're from, but they're actually defending their Raw Tag Team Championship.
Over
in
there,
a match,
which is pretty amazing.
Pretty crazy.
When they're over in Glasgow, Drew went to
Defy?
No, and is it ICW?
ICW? Yeah, as well.
Drew went to the local one when they were over there. And obviously, in this case, like we said, they released Grayson to come and do a match and some stuff with PWA. And I read an article around about how it all happened, and it's been the last couple of months with the TNA, not the Forbidden Door. What do we call it?
Oh, I can't remember. We had something snazzy to call it, but I can't remember. I'm done.
It's something portal.
Oh, the Prohibited Portal.
The Prohibited Portal. That's right. The Prohibited Portal had slightly opened. And you were getting TNA, like Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry and stuff was coming through. And I think that's when people like Grayson and that were like, well, might as well ask.
Yeah.
And so he went and asked the Upper Ups, and they were like, yeah, sure, go for it. Sounds like a great idea. Yep. So he kept it to his chest, and they planned it with PWA and him and Jimmy Townsend over a couple of months for it to happen. And obviously, logistically things have to work, right? You got to... Your storyline on TV or whatever, you've got to be able to be off TV to travel to do it. Yeah. It's got to work with your schedule, both from the local indie company, I say indie is in the Australian company, and the global company. But it played out, and it worked so well for Colosseum because there was so much noise, so much commotion around Grayson. And like the match, fantastic. It was really, really
Jimmy
good
put
match.
on an absolute clinic.
The way that it was portrayed, the walkout, the use of, his original Matty Wahlberg entrance that he used to do with, what is it? The whatever stepper. I can't remember his music. He used his original PWA music where he was sort of coming through the back that he always used to do for his entrances. If you actually go back, it's on YouTube, there's a really good match with him and Orange Cassidy from the original Colosseum that he won. 2018 or 2019, yeah. When Matty Wahlberg won Colosseum. But yeah, so he comes out to that, and then as he gets to the right towards the ring, they pop the Grayson Waller music on, and that was really cool that he got to use it. B got to be his Grayson Waller character. Yeah. So props to WWE for all that happening, and PWA for bringing it all together.
Yeah, it was really great, and I think we went to the King of the Metro, and when they announced that Charlie Evans would face Jessica Troy for the title in the first round of the Colosseum, we were like, hey, that'd be really cool. So we were kind of umming and ahhing about actually attending Colosseum or not. And I think once Jimmy Townsend made that challenge to Grayson, we were like, yeah, I think we need to be there. Because wasn't official, but in the wrestling world, you don't generally tease that sort of stuff unless something's going to happen. So we were like, yeah, we're going to have to pull some strings, make the trip up, and I'm so glad that we did because that was such an entertaining 2 days. To be there with so many familiar wrestlers as well. We had Lena Cross, Robbie Eagles was on the card, Charlie Evans, big shout out.
Yep.
One of my new favourite Australian wrestlers.
Yep.
Jessica Troy has grown on me. I know we had our beef, if you see this, we had our beef during your entrance before you fought Charlie Evans, and then you come and accosted me during the match as well.
Deservedly so, Jess.
No.
Absolutely deserved.
Bury the hatchet. Jess is a phenomenal wrestler. Just seeing so much great Australian talent on this card that we've seen in the past and just being exposed to for the first time.
Yeah.
PWA is something very special.
And for those that maybe think that the local shows are not so much below you, but sort of not your scene, you kind of big WWE or AEW
You'd be
people.
surprised.
The difference that you get in these kind of events is how intimate they are and how much interaction you get.
Yeah.
The wrestlers go into the crowd that you we've had a joke with Tommy Knight.
Sorry, man.
For the last couple of shows that he's been at, when we got upgraded to the front row in one of the last Slam shows, Reece, after a couple of cans, told Tommy Knight to go back to Melbourne.
He's from Adelaide.
And he's like, I'm from Adelaide, you idiot. So then during this show, in his match, I'm pretty sure it was day 2, actually.
Yeah, it was day 2. Day 2 against Big Fudge, I'm pretty sure it was against.
It was. And then I yelled nice and loud, go back to Melbourne, Tommy. And he was like, I'm from Adelaide, you dickhead. We know, Tommy. We know.
Just having some fun.
It was exactly like the interaction you get is so much fun. And the fact that we walk into those kind of events, the doors open and the wrestlers are all standing at the merch table.
Yeah.
To sell their merch because, please buy it because that's what they want. Case in point, right?
That's what helps them live.
The signed Lena poster and different things. We've got the Vinny cards. We've got the Hope from the Top Rope Sunnies. We try and support local wrestlers as much as we can.
Old signed Dan Archer print right there as well.
Correct. So, you get to sort of interact and chat with all the wrestlers and stuff, and then they're selling their merch, but they also want to just talk to fans. Yeah. So it's such a fun event, and we've now got the Slam show next weekend, which is Rage in the Cage 2, which is going to be close to 2,000 people.
They've confirmed they've sold over 1,500 tickets, which is huge. It's getting close to that number that they got for Rage in the Cage last year as well.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. So 1,000%, everybody watching, anyone who follows us and stuff, go and support local wrestling. Go to whatever shows near you. There's if you actually go onto Facebook, there's a Facebook group, Australian
Wrestling Community.
And Michael Lee, I'll give him a shout out.
Yeah, massive shout out to
every week. I'm pretty sure it's on a Thursday. He'll post every wrestling show on the weekend in Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, Queensland,
Northern Territory.
Wherever there's a show, he will tell you that it's there. So 100% go and do it. And like I said, we've got Slam coming up. We also have the Lucha Fantastica shows coming up a couple of weeks after that.
Yeah.
And the Extreme Championship Wrestling matches in Canberra as well.
Yeah, we're yet to get to one of those shows, but it's on our radar.
So we're trying to get to that too. So, and I think PWA, which is obviously what we're talking about tonight, they have had 4 shows in October. Every weekend they were doing something.
They're just cranking it out.
They did something at the grand final, on grand final weekend. They then had Colosseum. They're doing something this weekend in Parramatta.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's ridiculous the schedule these guys do, but they give 110% in every show. So 1,000% go and support them.
Absolutely.
Let's talk the Colosseum. So the way the Colosseum works is, as you said, it was a 2-day tournament. People had there was 8 contestants. You win your way through. Winner gets the Colosseum sword.
Yep.
which is incredible looking sword this year. And they had a really good flamethrower lady doing a big presentation.
Yeah.
That was something else.
Yeah, I was not expecting that on our wrestling bingo card that weekend. So very impressed with that.
So the competitors for the Colosseum tournament, like we said, there was a few we've already mentioned. Big Fudge, a very big fan favourite in PWA.
Absolutely. He's the local hero.
He was first round match against Ricky Utomi. Tommy Knight, Big Baby, our buddy, spoiler alert,
from Melbourne.
Made it to day 2 because he was facing Lena Cross, another one of our favourites.
Yep.
Then there was also Kai Drake and Robbie Thorpe. And the main event of day 1, which was what you already precluded to, was Jess Troy as the PWA champion against Chevs. Best friends.
Jess Troy defending her title in every single match of the tournament as well.
Yeah. What do we want to touch on in the first round matches from the actual wrestling?
I mean, like, coming into it, Tommy Knight versus Lena Cross, as soon as we found out about that, I was like, that's going to be one to look out for because they've both been on our radar. We've seen them at Slam a few times. We've seen Lena over at the EPW show. I'm pretty sure Tommy was there as well. Like,
he was definitely at the chamber. I remember seeing him in the crowd when Rhea was...
Pretty sure he was in the Rumble.
He probably was, yeah.
So we've seen them a lot, and to see them go head-to-head, that was a very interesting prospect for me. And I wanted Lena to win, but did not get what I wanted, which was unfortunate.
I really liked that match, obviously, like the big hitting Tommy Knight, but like Lena not backing down at any point. And I'm pretty sure, the finish was he just choked her and she tried to get out first time, and then the second time it was just like, nah, just grabbed her,
just tapped her
up, tapped her out. But that was a really great match. Big Fudge, like I said, it's hilarious. Butt puncher. He got through in his match as well, so that was really fun. Kai Drake and Robbie Thorpe, that was a decent match too.
Robbie Thorpe, the old Bronson Reed. Not Bronson.
No, Vinny Bronson from Wish is what you were calling him.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just because he's English, but all right.
I mean, like, he's wearing the same outfit, essentially.
Well, yeah.
Same colours and everything.
Bit taller and a bit stronger than Vinny. Don't hurt me, Vinny. I promise I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah. A future tag partner. Get rid of Josh. Get Robbie Thorpe on your team, mate.
Yeah, do that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, get the UK boys in. That'd be fun. So those matches were great. There was also on the first night, there was a tag team gauntlet match.
Yeah.
Which was a whole bunch of fun because there was a whole bunch of teams here.
Lots of fun.
So let's start with...
We know who kicked it off. Our backslide girls. Kingsley and Shane Cassidy.
What an entrance too, by the way. Like big teddy bears, carried on shoulders. Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. I hope we get that at Slam next week.
I really do too. I hope Kingsley gets everything.
She gets the queen treatment.
Unfortunately, drops the title to Rita's turn.
Sorry, Kingsley.
Sorry. Skater Boy Pidgey and Billy Preston were in there. PPK, which is Frankie B and Nikki Van Blair.
Yeah, they started the match with Backslide Girls.
Culture then came in. They were walking around a lot outside. I noticed them walking around in their gear and stuff in outside the metro in the city. That's Moko Kai and Eugenie. MK Plus Ultra, which was...
Eugenie. She just faced Erica Reed for the MCW title recently.
There you go. That's it. She's part of Culture.
Making waves, mate. Making waves.
MK Plus Ultra, which was Michael Spencer and Cosmo Cooper. Now, we didn't know Cosmo...
Because we saw him at one of the live Slam shows the other week.
At Reload.
And I was like, this is a really good new guy they got in. Yeah. No, it's just the guy that got down from PWA.
You know what's quite funny, Cosmo, if you're watching? Thank you for this, because it was the night we watched you at Reload, we were in the alleyway and it was raining and a bit cold. Yeah. And poor Reece was complaining about how cold it was. So Lockie, my son, went up to you and said, can I have your hat? And so you gave him the bucket hat, which we gave it to Reece just to keep his head warm.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Good fun. And then Skater Boy, then Third Eye came in, which is Xander Sullivan and Ty Thayer, and then the Velocities ended up winning this.
Which is funny because our last experience with the Velocities outside of Slam was...
Which was at PWA, I think.
Yeah, King of the Metro, where they turned on each other. And then we being out of the loop to what has happened in between King of the Metro and Colosseum, they come out and it's like, they're back together. What happened? How did they mend the bridge? Please educate us. We don't know.
we missed that part.
Absolutely missed it.
But really cool too that they're actually over in Japan at the moment.
Doing the junior tag league?
Tag tournament, yep.
Amazing.
It's really cool to see the velocities globally.
For them to get that sort of exposure in that tournament, and because everyone loves New Japan. Hopefully, we've said this before, velocities are on another level, and hopefully this makes them get noticed.
Yep.
And this takes them to the next level because they're absolutely almost too talented to be cooped up in this country.
Could you imagine an NXT tag match with the velocities against Fraxium?
Oh.
How fast that match would be.
Holy shit.
The other match, obviously, we talked about Grayson. Yep. So what had happened as well is that Jimmy Townsend had won the key to the kingdom. I can't remember how he wins that. Essentially gives him any match that he wants. Right? It's like a Money in the Bank. Cash it in when he wants to. It can be against any champion, can be whatever he wants it to be. He chose to cash in his key of the whatever.
Kingdom.
On Grayson. And he called him out. And obviously, when Grayson was here as in PWA with Manny Wahlberg, him and Jimmy, it was kind of a mentor thing. There's a lot of stuff with him and Jimmy and Mick Moretti and a whole bunch of things previously when he was here before he went overseas. And so Jimmy kind of just called him out and said, look, since you've left, I've grown, I've gotten a bit better. I want to prove my worth to you.
Yep.
And Grayson very politely, first time around, said, no thanks.
Don't need to stoop to your level.
Yeah, appreciate it, champ, but I'm over here, you're down there.
Yep.
Don't need it.
Defending tag titles on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole different world up there for Big Grayson.
Absolutely.
And then, some back and forth promos, and then we get there. And we get this match.
They were all fantastically done promos, so props to the PWA social media team for getting all that done.
And the WWE guys, the way they got that all organised from both sides,
fantastic.
Really well done. And we get the match, and it was a really good match.
It was on the night, I was pretty cooked.
Oh, that's an understatement. We were all pretty cooked.
I did not realise how long that match was. I think it was 18 to 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah. It went so fast on the night.
Yeah. This was also...
We watched it back the next day as well.
Because it's all on YouTube. If you want to go watch it, I'll put the
for
links.
free on YouTube, so links down below.
Links
Check it
out. I do remember, like you said, we were a few cans deep this night. You, me,
having a ball.
Editor Luke were there. We were all having a great time. I do think this was one of my highlights for my PWA experience was starting the We Want Theory chants during the Grayson Waller match.
And then everyone chiming in.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
But then I reckon we got more than half the crowd being like, we want theory.
Yeah.
We got that chant going.
Just stir them up. Stir it up.
This was a really fun match. Ref bump. Mick Moretti comes out.
Yeah.
Mick Moretti faces off with Grayson. He
double teamed him to try and get the victory for Jimmy.
Yep.
Didn't work.
And Grayson won.
Yep. I got to admit, that stomp that he uses.
Oh, it's brutal.
Bring that to WWE.
Yeah.
Dan said that he's done it before, but I don't remember ever seeing Grayson do that in WWE.
I'm pretty sure in the match against Orange Cassidy in that Colosseum, I saw him do it.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things that maybe he used.
Maybe he can't because Seth's doing the stomp.
Yeah, Seth, you can't do that. Sorry, man.
Seth, he just pedigree. It's just do that.
Yeah. But after this, if you go to our TikTok, I'll also link that video down below. We have Grayson cut a really great promo essentially on international wrestling and saying how Australia is on top.
Yeah.
He hates Japanese wrestling. He
hates UK wrestling.
He hates American wrestling.
But Australian wrestling, that's where it's at.
We're
on top of the world right now.
And, he called out everybody we said. Rhea and everybody and Delta and all that sort of stuff. So really, really cool to see, Grayson get a chance to come back to PWA where he made his name originally.
Yep.
Put someone else over, even though, Jimmy didn't win the match. Definitely put Jimmy over, for sure.
Jimmy having that match with Grayson and putting on the performance that he did, that's the elevation that he needed. Sure.
And then, just shouting at everyone else, it was great. So that was fantastic. And then the main event on that one, we said Chevs, Jess Troy.
Oh, hell of a these match. Ladies put on a fantastic match. I've heard Wrestle Radio Australia talk Jess Troy up before.
Yep.
And saying that she's one of the greatest women's technical wrestlers in Australia, and I have no arguments to that whatsoever.
Arm collector?
Yeah. I mean, this was my fourth time seeing Jess Troy, third and fourth time over the Colosseum weekend seeing Jess Troy wrestle, and I definitely think she's one of the top prospects in Australia.
Oh, fantastic.
The first time I saw her, I wasn't sold, and that's purely because of the outfit. the knitted,
the hippie stuff.
the knitted crochet ensemble. Not my vibe, but just pulls it off.
Clearly, he's more of a black metal, black t-shirt kind of guy.
Clearly. Sorry.
What I think was funny around this was that we had a chat with Jess after all the matches.
And she remembered that she accosted me in the crowd.
That was part
unprovoked, mind you.
No, it wasn't unprovoked. You were totally fine, Jess, don't worry. No, because one of the other times we'd seen her was at a Slam event in Mitchell, which was kind of like one of their tryout type academy shows.
Yeah.
And she came down and versed Shay Cassidy. And it was like because I remember being there with you and Greg and we're like, watch Jess. She's their champion. Watch how good this match will be. She lost in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was a short match. And it was just like,
what is that? And I spoke to Jess afterwards. I was like, what was when you came down to the academy? What the hell was that? She goes, it's just a girls' weekend away. I was like, what? She goes, yeah, Kingsley was booked and asked if we wanted to come down. So we were like, sure. Good on you, girls. I love it. Well done.
Keep it up. Come back to Slam.
Come to actually Slam and beat Kingsley for our title, please. I mean, I love you, Kingsley. Anyway, on to night two. Or day two for the Colosseum. So obviously,
yeah, because it started at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes. This was the loudest part of the evening, or the day for me, was the Kai Drake entrance with the dragons and stuff.
Cracked 100 decibels, according to your watch.
It was phenomenal.
It was fantastic.
But all those Chinese dragons and the drummers and everything, it was a great entrance, but my God, was it loud.
It was so loud.
But Jess versus Kai Drake, really good match. Jess won.
Yep.
Again, defended her title in this match all the way through
successfully.
The tournament. Tommy Knight and Big Fudge.
David versus Goliath.
What an absolute match between the small guy and the big guy. They did this so well.
I was scared that Tommy was going to lose at one point, but he pulled it out.
Didn't he? He got butt punched.
He absolutely got butt punched. Because that's his tee up, the butt punch. And then what's his finisher? Does he do choke slam?
Yep, he does.
Big Fudge does a big choke slam, but he couldn't get Tommy up.
No, he couldn't.
Couldn't get Tommy up.
And Tommy won. So that was obviously setting up now the final of the Colosseum for later in the afternoon,
which was Jess Troy versus
Tommy Knight.
There
was a 6-pack challenge match with Hari Singh, Mitch McCarthy, Bobby Bishop, Tony Sin, and Everett Connors. And Reece Angel won that.
Yeah.
He's really good, Reece. We saw him at the Metro.
Yeah, King of the Metro won.
He was in that Rumble match.
He's definitely got the look to be a superstar.
Oh, and
absolutely. He's chiseled. He's athletic.
He was the one that turned on Lockie McIntyre. Remember?
Yes.
And knocked Lockie McIntyre out for like 20 minutes in that Rumble match. He was just lying in the corner. I do remember that. That was hilarious.
Shout out Lockie McIntyre.
One of the guys, I think it was Bobby Bishop, I can't remember, was literally standing in front of us all of night one and we didn't even know who he was.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we were standing night one right next to one of the cameras, like the probably the hard cam, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
We were right next to it and he was standing there, obviously protecting it from people walking up and down the aisle. And a couple of times he was like turning to me and just like, "Oh, can you just make sure no one touches?" They're like, and I was like, "Yeah, man, we got it. We're okay. We're not going to bump the camera. We're fine."
I mean, like fair point for him to continue doing that because we were pretty rowdy.
We were, but then when like he walked out on the stage at the day two in the same like denim jacket and hat backwards, I was like, "Isn't that the good job?" Then there was a tag team match, and this was
very, very good.
Very rowdy. One of my favourites was North Shore Wrestling against the Dropouts. Sorry, I really do like that. I can't wait for them to come
out. I can't wait for Slam next week. I hope they win the Slam titles.
The Tuckmen and Scotty Green, the Dropouts. North Shore Wrestling won this.
Correction. North Shore Wankers.
North Shore Wankers. They're also at Slam.
They are.
They're in the Rumble, though. So I'm sure something's going to come of that.
Surprise help from... We'll get to that later.
We're not there. We're not there yet. So that was a really fun match. The crowd, the way that they all fought the Tuckman. Like we were chatting to Tuckman after.
Yeah.
And I have given him his flowers and I shouted him out to say that he's probably one of the most improved wrestlers I've ever seen. Oh, yeah. In the last 12 months or so.
Absolutely.
Because I went and saw last year Tuckman's
Bush Batch
or whatever it was, which was in December at Liberty Hall. We went with editor Luke and Scotty, one of our mates. And that was probably where Tucker was sort of coming up and facing or looking to face the soul of the PWA champion, which is now Robbie Eagles and stuff. Yeah. From what he was then to what he is now, in the ring, he has gotten so much better, but also as a character and
the crowd interaction as well.
The combination of the dropouts. The fact that, like, I'm going to follow them obviously on Insta and stuff now. They're wrestling here. Wollongong, he was in Melbourne. I think he was in Melbourne on like a Friday, and then Sydney on the Saturday, and then Newcastle on the Sunday. And then the next weekend was in Wollongong and then Newcastle, and then he was doing PWA for 2 days. Like, mate,
absolute workhorse.
Heroes. Really huge fans of them.
They unfortunately did not get the victory.
No, they did not. But on to bigger and better things, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. It's only a matter of time before they're running the tag team division in every promotion.
I think so. And I think, as we said, the North Shore Wrestling guys needed to win for storyline purposes, which we'll discuss towards
very
the end
shortly.
Of the show. Then there was the other, I guess, celebrity match that they had at Colosseum, which was the tag team match of Jack Bonza and James Graham, former Bulldogs and Dragons NRL player, beating the regime of Ricky South and Backman.
Yep. Which, like, we hate Ricky South, so we were fine with this match. But I
wanted to start the weak gutted dog chant, but I don't think that works outside of Canberra.
Nah, not really. Not really. For context, Ricky South won our Terry Campese Battle Royal at last year's Rage in the Cage and proceeded to call all of Canberra weak gutted dogs. So it's just a running trick that we have with you.
Yeah, we do. Screw you, Ricky. Yeah. But obviously this started with James Graham from Triple M Radio doing a lot of stuff.
I can't remember the Buy Around podcast.
The Buy Around podcast. I can't remember how it first started, but essentially it was kind of like him calling out wrestlers and saying
on the podcast
that they're fake. It's all fake.
Because it was him and Brandon Smith, I believe.
Oh, the Cheese. Yep.
Yeah, the Cheese, talking shit about pro wrestling and that sort of stuff. And then Ricky chimed in, and then Grayson chimed in as well. So just so happened that we had Grayson Waller in town as well. So guess who was at, kind of ringside. It was on the little elevated ledge in the Metro.
In a Roosters jersey.
I was there in my Raiders jersey.
There was a lot of Bulldogs jerseys in the crowd.
There was a lot of football jerseys.
Yeah. Which is obviously when you book James Graham, that's kind of what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was great. There was, I believe, a ref bump as well in this match, which allowed Grayson, as soon as he saw that, he was like, I'm getting down there.
He got down there,
got in the ring, punched onto James Graham. James Graham was very stiff. But he didn't look too bad.
He looked pretty good. He had a really nice spear. Massive props to James Graham for doing a crossbody off the top rope onto Ricky South and Backman outside.
Yep.
Like, that was massive.
And the spear that he did to destroy the referee was one of the best spears I've seen. Jay Uso could never. That spear.
Absolutely.
So good. But then, he obviously came down and confronted him, and then Bonza and that sort of interrupted Grayson, and so James Graham speared
Grayson and then they ended up getting the win.
That was the big finish, which looked great. Again, you've got Grayson here for a weekend. Use him.
Yeah.
Then after that, there was an 8-person tag team match.
Yeah.
Which was the
losers from the
first round.
Yeah.
Against the, what do they call them?
Oh, I think it was just
it was like an all-star team from PWA.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But the problem with the all-star team was that it was
not
Belle Pierce and Aaron Jake, who are heels.
Heel tag team champions as well.
Correct. Ben Braxton, who everybody loves.
Everyone loves Ben Braxton, who is also in our Battle Royal at Rage in the Cage too.
He's very good. And Robbie Eagles.
We love Robbie.
We love Robbie, right? Against Charlie Evans, Lena Cross, Robbie Thorpe, and Ricky Utomi. And those 4 that had lost, were, apart from Ricky Thorpe, were all faces.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for someone like Braxton and Robbie Eagles to be faces against the faces. It didn't quite work.
Yeah.
So
Robbie played the heel.
And he did it so well because he kind of like flipped. After a couple of minutes into the match, he's like, oh, be the bad guy here.
Yeah. We almost got him, but...
With which part?
Oh, starting the Robbie chant.
Yeah.
And everyone went, oi, 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 and then I just stopped.
And then no one else did it. And he was like, oh, screw you guys. This is perfect. There's your heel turn. Off you go. But this was a fun match. There's a whole bunch of fun spots in here.
Yeah.
And Ben Braxton ended up winning it.
Yeah, because he was fighting with his team a lot. Like,
yes.
Robbie and, what was the other guy's name, sorry?
Aaron Jake.
They didn't want to tag him in.
Yeah, correct.
So he was just standing on the apron, just like getting all frustrated, managed to get the tag in and won the match for him. There you go.
Because he just rolled through everybody in the end. I saw a lot of signs too that was like Braxton for Colosseum 2025. So
yeah, but I also noticed one of the signs was 21 crossed out, 22 crossed out, 23 crossed out, 24 crossed out. You'll get your wish one day. Hopefully next year.
You can just win the Terry Campese Rumble and go for the Slam title. I'm not against that either, by the way.
No.
Sign Braxton.
I can't wait for Canberra to be exposed to Ben Braxton.
I can't wait for Cam to be exposed to like a lot of these wrestlers that are really good. Not saying the Slam guys aren't great, but I feel
like some of these PWA guys are gonna.
I feel like
they're gonna put on such a good show.
Slam's a little bit sheltered.
Yeah,
we're in a little bubble. Slam's quite good. I think that with the size of these shows and getting more people in, let's expand it. Let's get it out there a little bit more. I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun next weekend. The main event, day 2, was the finale of the Colosseum tournament.
Yep.
For the PWA Championship and the sword. After, like we said, that fantastic fire twirling whole thing. Like the production quality of this was just astounding. Like it was really well done.
If you go watch it on YouTube, you'll find out.
Jessica Troy versus Tommy Knight.
Another David versus Goliath match.
And sold exactly the way it should have been.
Yep.
Tommy was on top, was beating her up. And then there was a point where they started going through the crowd.
And they literally walked right past us fighting.
Yep. And
literally right past us. It was great.
Then we had to get out of the way twice.
Yep.
All the way up to the top of the metro, around the back, around the bar, all the way back down. That was fantastic. And then they got to a point where Tommy Knight was down and Jess Troy was on top as they were going through the crowd. And then Jess walked up the stairs and up to the balcony. And this is a good 5 meters up, you reckon?
Yeah.
Like it was a tall balcony.
Yep.
And she grabbed her mum's hand and said, "Help me," and walked to the edge of the
She
balcony.
asked, "Do you want to jump with me?"
Yeah. And no, thank you.
No.
No, thank you, Jess. No. You could do this yourself. And so off the balcony, Jess jumped onto Tommy Knight, straight onto the floor.
Yeah. And then that led back into the ring and Jess picked up the victory. Your Colosseum 2024
winner. She tapped out Tommy.
Yeah.
Eventually. Like the amount of times she tried to get him into the things and he kept rolling out, he kept powering out and stuff. He eventually gets the armbar on him and he eventually tapped out.
Big props to Jess.
Huge
Fantastic.
win. Chevs came out as her best friend, celebrated with her.
Yeah.
Everyone hugged. It was a great moment.
And then the knife in the back.
Your mate.
Knife in the back. I think I might have been the only person, no offense, Jess. I think I might have been the only person cheering.
I think you were, to be fair.
Sorry. But, I mean, like, I saw it coming. Like, I was standing there, I was just like, usually this doesn't happen unless someone turns, right? I was thinking that to myself.
It was too long.
My brother was watching live in Canberra on YouTube, and I texted him, and I was like, heel turn. And then it happened. I was happy, but then North Shore Wankers came out, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Chevs doesn't fit with North Shore Wankers.
No, but she needs some heels to make her a heel.
But it's very polarizing. Is she going to change her get-up? Is she going to start being all snooty and coming out like sundresses? I don't know whether they're wearing manly.
Sundresses? I can't see Chevs wearing sundresses, mate. Come on.
Absolutely not.
I love the turn. I think that this extends what you've had with Jess and Chevs. Like, you can have the... I mean, we've seen this on WWE with Kevin and Cody, right?
Yeah.
You saw that your friends can have a nice, respectable, who's the better one of us? Let's just see who's better. We're still friends. We'll shake it out at the end type match.
Yeah.
If you want to do that again, you can't still be friends.
Somebody's going to the old knife and twist.
So I think that's probably a smart move to book that. And realistically, in terms of like...
Might have to keep an eye out on when that match gets announced for. And then
the next one. We'll go to it. Yeah, right. Because
I have a feeling it might be the one at the end of December. What do they call it? Kick-ons?
Nah, they won't have it. Not the kick-ons. That'll be all around the tuckman and the dropouts and them hopefully getting a tag team.
It just felt like that was like PWA's like next big show, and I figured that'd be a good...
It'll be in the next pay-per-view. Yeah.
We'll keep an eye out
for that.
Come watch Jess lose the title. Sorry, Jess.
He really wants Chevs to get the title. Look, I think the pairing of her and North Shore Wrestling is good because there's nobody that's hated more in Sydney
than North Shore Wankers.
Wankers from the North Shore. They think they're better than everybody. So instant heat no matter what they do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like Chevs. Like Charlie is a very good wrestler. She's very charismatic and entertaining. So I can see why people wouldn't boo her. But if she's with North Shore Wrestling, we're booing her every time.
Yeah. Just because of them, not because of you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But overall, fantastic weekend.
Loved it.
The production quality of it. Watch it on YouTube. It's a really great show. The announcers are great. The commentary is great. All of the wrestlers put in 110%. And it's so good, like we said, to see some of these guys starting to mix it up in Slam, with the Canberra guys, travelling to Melbourne, going down and wrestling Slex, going across to Perth and wrestling Mikey Broderick, Jesse Lambert and that kind of stuff. It's really, really good to see the local wrestling scene just grow and get better and better. And, we're going to get more Deltas. We're going to get more Rhea Ripleys. We're going to get more Bronson Reeds from this sort of group of people that are applying the trade right now.
We're literally watching now.
100%.
That's crazy.
So get out there, support your local wrestling, go and see a show. If you're hanging around or anywhere near Canberra, come and see us at the Slam.
I'm apparently very easy to spot, so
I'm not.
Keep an eye out for me.
I'm not, but my voice is recognisable. Tuckman remembered my voice from our TikToks and from
which is crazy.
YouTube. So.
Like I get recognised for my mug, and then Dan gets recognised for his voice.
Yeah, look, I'll take it. It's better than nothing.
Win's a win.
But yeah, if you're around Rage in the Cage 2, come and see us. I think
we'll be on the floor on the left-hand side of the ring.
Glad you remember where our tickets are. I don't. I bought them, but don't know where they are.
I do.
I think the Court in Conversation podcast, those guys are going to be in Canberra for Rage in the Cage.
They recently just caught up with Tommy Knight and Luke Watts as well. So pretty good episodes there. Check them out.
Check their podcast out. We'll obviously do a Slam review next week after that show's done.
Absolutely. That's what we do.
But yeah, support your local wrestling. Thank you to obviously PWA, WWE and everyone that let that Colosseum event happen. Keep going, Jess. I was actually really proud. Did you see that they were on Sunrise the next morning?
Yeah. Her and James Graham were on Sunrise.
Yeah, they got like 5 minutes, but still, that's pretty cool.
The fact that they got on Sunrise.
But did you see that she was talking how she had to get in the Uber with her title belt and a sword?
Yeah.
And catch an Uber into the city? 6 a.m. on a Monday morning. You're like, why have you got a sword?
Yeah, that would have been a fun conversation.
Yeah, hilarious, but great.
Yep, love to see it.
So that's our wrap up of PWA Colosseum. Check out our YouTube for all our other videos. We've got a normal podcast around all the things that are happening in wrestling. Reece cranking out our TikToks, having the time of his life over there. We've got the full Grayson talk on TikTok if you want to go see that too. We recorded that from when we were at PWA in the crowd. So go check that TikTok out. It's nearly 10,000 views.
Nearly. It's very close. It's like 100 views off.
10,000 views on a TikTok. Who'd have thought?
That'll be our third one.
Not me.
Small wins, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta take them.
And yeah, come say hi at Rage in the Cage 2.
Yep.
November 2nd, AAS Arena. Luke Watts, despite being told by medical people that he shouldn't be wrestling and he's got a back problem, is defending his title in a cage against Dan Archer.
This is going to be an interesting encounter. I'll just say that. Yeah, our boy.
Our boy Dan Archer. Now's the time. All right? Now is the time, Dan. It's time. Win this title.
Tombstone off the top of the cage.
Off the top of the cage?
I said it.
I'll accept
I'm manifesting it.
Top rope? I'll take a top rope one. I don't think we're doing a top cage one.
I'm manifesting it.
Okay. Keep your eye out to see what happens in Rage in the Cage and if two people die from doing a tombstone off the top of a steel cage.
That'll be fine. Cakewalk.
But just quickly, whilst we're talking about that event, obviously there is that Terry Campese 20-man battle royal.
Yeah.
That Ricky South won it last year. And then obviously
you better not win it again.
Took the check and left Canberra because we're weak gutted dogs, and he yelled out at Victor the Viking, the Canberra Raiders mascot. Didn't appreciate that too much. Who'd you pick?
No.
Who'd you pick for this year's Rumble? We'll put the right here. Editor Luke's going to chuck in the picture of the Rumble because Terry Campese is in it this year.
Yeah, he's in it this year.
I think
Jimmy Townsend's in it. He was an early pick for the win, but with our suspicion is that Dan Archer will beat Luke Watts and become your new Slam Pro League Wrestling champion.
I agree. Yep.
With that in mind, a heel champion moving forward, and the winner of Mikey Broderick versus Tommy Knight gets into the Battle Royal. I think Mikey beats Tommy, and then it's either Mikey or Slex that will face Dan Archer coming out of Rage in the Cage.
Okay. I'm going to go for the slightly less obvious picks. And like I said, I hope Slam expand their horizons a bit, bring some more people into the title scenes and some more matches. I'm going to pick Jimmy Townsend or Ben Braxton. I would love to see one of those two win.
I would not be mad. And that's the thing. We've got so much great talent going around in Australia at the moment. all 4 of those picks, I would be very happy winning.
Yep, agree.
Can't complain with any of them. Except if Ricky South wins again.
Or Skull.
Sorry, we don't like Skull. I mean, we're not sorry. All right, we'll wrap that up. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you've seen PWA Colosseum, what you thought was the best match, how you thought Jess Troy went throughout the whole Colosseum, defending her title in every match and coming out on top. King of PWA. Let us know your thoughts. Comment down below. Come join us on TikTok. We've got a Discord as well. Mm-hmm. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next week.
Can we finish with the Tuckman?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, I just wanted to make sure.
We'll catch you next week for our review of Crown Jewel and Slam Rage in the Cage 2. And to finish off...